Right now we're going to do a brief overview of your blender components. We're going to start with your gates. So each gate assembly controls two hoppers. So I've pulled one of the gates here so you can kind of get a look at it. So you can see it does two components, has two cylinders, and it also has this stroke limiter. Stroke limiter is to limit the opening of the gate for smaller ingredients. So like a lower percentage, you'd want to slide this forward towards the gate, and for larger components you want to open it. And you can see, if we just take a look at the back side of your gate, our gates are all diamond shaped gates, so this allows for the gate shape to remain the same even when we limit the stroke of the cylinder, and it provides for more accurate feeding. The next thing we'll look at to access the mixer, first we're going to unplug it, and then we can open the door. So the whole assembly, once you open the door, you can open the bottom latches, and you can pull the whole assembly drawer out. So if you want to do a thorough cleaning, you can remove that. You can remove your weigh hopper, simply unplug it here, lift it off and slide it out. When you're taking the weigh hopper in and out, you want to be cautious not to damage your load cells. So the load cells hold 10 kilograms. You don't want to put a bunch of force on there because you will damage them. You can also remove your mixer completely, so you can gain access to the whole assembly. And reassembly is just the reverse. So we'll slide the mixer in. You can also, as long as if you lock out your air, you can manually move your gates in here for clean out. So we'll just reassemble the mixer portion at this time. You also take note when you put this weigh hopper in, make sure it's sitting nice and flat and it has some movement between the load cells. The other thing you're going to note here is we have our safety switch. You can't rely on that switch for clean out, but it will stop everything if you open the door. So if you're going to get your hands in there, you still want to make sure you power the unit off. And then reassembly, just close the latches. And also, you'll notice on this switch, there is some adjustment. So for maintenance reasons, if you have a problem where it's giving you a safety switch alarm, you may need to adjust the switch a little bit. The other thing you'll notice on here is we have an emergency stop button that kills power to everything. For mounting the machine, it comes with the eyelets already attached. That's a standard. And your load cells are located under these covers on the side. So when you clean your blender, you're going to want to take your air nozzle that comes with the machine and just kind of blow out in there. You'll just blow those out to make sure you don't have any pellets or dust in there. So you have a flow control for your weigh hopper door. So if it's shutting too hard, you can adjust your flow control to lower the volume of air going to it. Below that, you see your solenoid valves for each hopper. You also have your solenoid for the weigh hopper. And then if you'll see, you have a jumper here. This is for safety. So when you open the safety switch, you also kill all the air. So if I plug this in, you'll see as soon as we plug it in, first solenoid lights up. That passes air to the rest of the solenoids as long as the safety is made. You have a regulator here that provides 60 psi to the blender. And one other thing I'll note is this stand has a knife gate built in. If you have a knife gate, you're going to see you'll get it, and it'll have a fitting like this, and it plugs in right here. So you'll remove this plug and put your air line there when you're assembling the machine. Open and close your doors here, there is a safety grate located inside the hopper, so it's safe to open this with everything energized. You can't get your hands into the gate. And then you'll notice on this side too, the load cells both wire into the panel here, and they're labeled A and B. So when you're doing your calibration, if there's any confusion on which load cells which, you can follow the wire back and they're labeled. If we come around the back of the machine, control panel's mounted here. Below the control panel is your mixer, and below the mixer and next to the mixer, you'll see your mixer high level proximity sensor. So when that sensor's covered, that's what stops the blender from running. Also on your panel, you'll see your on-off switch, safety active. That just means that your safety switch is made. And then you have a manual control for your slide gate that'll be under the blender. So next we're gonna go over your control panel. You'll notice you have your on-off switch, safety active light, that means your safety switch is engaged. And you have your slide gate auto open close switch. It's keyed, so if you want to leave that gate open all the time and you don't want any operators or anything to close it, you can remove the key and they won't be able to do it. If it's flipped to auto, it's controlled by the PLC. You'll notice on top we have an alarm horn strobe combo for all your alarms. And if we open the panel, we have a micro 850 PLC, 24 volt power supply for all the I/O, and a 12 volt power supply specifically for the load cell. Next to the power supply, we have our safety contactor. Below the safety, we have an MCP for the mixer, a solid state relay for the mixer, and then we have a couple other relays over here, one for the alarm horn, and then just your terminal strips. We'll go into a little bit in-depth troubleshooting in the next video.